What's up guys, AlterGenesis here, back with more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I know it was a long time between videos again, but if I could, I wouldn't go to work. But unfortunately, I have to pay the bills, so I go to work and I try to do these Duel Links or gaming videos when I can. But today, I'm going to bring you a level 40 Zane farming video. I know it's a little late, but I was experimenting with different decks during my downtime. And I'm going to show 3 of the 4 decks to you in action. Now, hopefully you'll with these decks you'll get the most of the time you have left to farm Zane. And the first deck that I'm going to show you on the middle screen is, I'm not going to show you a replay of this deck because I didn't, it was probably my least favorite of the 4, but it's pretty obvious how to run this deck regardless. It is a Kaibaman Blue Eyes deck with 2 floodgates. So the floodgates are basically for his biggest threats, which are his big fusion monsters and Light Ray Daedalus, which can only activate its effect when a field spell is out in play. So it can destroy the field spell and 2 cards of yours. So that's the real threat here. Otherwise, none of his monsters have really game-breaking effects, but they have high attack. So if you don't have Floodgate, like I found this deck a little bit bricky, but if you didn't like have Floodgate, there was another card that you could use just in case he summons a big fusion monster, and I believe it was called Chthonian Polymer or something like that. Just let me search it up right now. Yes, this one right here, Chthonian Polymer. So if he does activate a big monster and you have a Blue Eyes on the field or what have you, you just tribute it and take control of his fusion monster. So this deck I'm not going to show you, it's pretty straightforward. So let's get into the replays. So the first deck I'm going to show you is a Cloudian deck with Draw Sense Water as the skill. So for the most part, it's pretty obvious how this plays. You want to get your Cloudian out with either Sanctuary in the Sky, the Sanctuary in the Sky field spell out on the field, or Spirit Barrier down. Obviously, Cloudians cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage if Sanctuary of the Sky or Spirit Barrier is on the field. So you can kind of see my hand here. You can get unlucky if he summons big fusion monsters on the first turn. That's your lose condition. But in this case, in this replay, you can see that he doesn't have a big fusion monster to summon. So he does the 1500 perfect to trigger Draw Sense Water. And so what's great is that the Cloudian card is a Fairy Water. So as you can see, I have Sanctuary in the Sky in my hand. And so now we are pretty much safe, and I did have an Abyssal Designator in the hand. So what you're going to call is Light Sea Serpent, and that gets rid of the Light Ray Daedalus right here. So basically the farm is pretty much over at this point, because there's no way he can destroy Cloudian Turbulence and he won't be inflicting any damage. So it's pretty good to have Abyssal Designator, because in order for him to summon Light Ray Daedalus, he needs 4 light monsters in the grave. So most of the time, two Abyssal Designators will be okay, because it will be a while before he gets 4 light monsters in the grave, and you're pretty likely to draw into your Abyssal sometime before that. So no matter what he does right now, no matter how big his monster is, there's nothing he really can do other than power bond himself to death, but that's not what happens here. Now, this deck could be built more efficiently, but you know, I went for consistency by adding 3 Planet Pathfinders, but once you already have your Sanctuary in the Sky, it's kind of pointless, obviously, but hey, it happens. You really want to draw into your protection right away. So the few things that could happen in this case is that he either, effect kills himself or he draws out too fast. But this deck does have 3 Jars of Greed in it. You can replace those Jars of Greed with any draw power that you want. So for the last turn, you can see that I included Cybernetic Magician to try to make this deck as free to play as possible. Its effect that it targets an attack monster by discarding 1 card and makes that attack 2000, the monster 2000. So that's specifically for Gravekeeper's Vassal. But if you have it, you can always use the monster that the Fiend Mega Cyber, the one that lets you summon if they control 2 or more monsters than you. So you can use Fiend Mega Cyber, or you can use Double Magical Arm Bind. You could use... Well, actually, you can't really use Enemy Controller because he does have Rare Metamorph, which will negate it. But basically, you just want to get monsters on the field, special summonable on the last turn, or normal summonable. So in this case, I have a double summon. So if you don't have double summon, you can use whatever way to get big monsters onto the field to union attack your Vassal. So this was just a combo I made to kind of make it cheaper to get my Vassal over 9,199 damage. So right here I just use Abyssal just to get my life points lower. It doesn't really matter since we have bonus points, bonus 1,000 points, but if it wasn't there, this would guarantee 8,000. So now that we're in the last turn, it's pretty straightforward. We play double summon. We send our Sanctuary to Sky and Spirit Bear to summon Ant-Eating Ant. Then Vassal Secret Pass first, if you're going to use the Cyberkinetic Magician combo. So then we'll tribute our Cloudian for Cyberkinetic Magician. The key to this is to remember to keep at least 1 discardable card in your hand. And then you can see Vassal's attack rises to 2,000, and this will be double union attack and more than enough to get over 9,199 damage. And after that, he has no protection, no really thing that can cuck your last attack. So just attack for the win. Easy peasy, no problem. Alright, let's jump into the second replay. This is, as you can see on the right there, this is a raw deck that uses balance. So if you have the balance skill, this is a really good deck to use. I actually think this one is pretty cool to play. Pretty cheap. You'll see in some variants that people use Floodgate, but in this case I'm just using Ultimate Providence. Because you have so many monsters in the deck, you will be very likely to have fodder to use Ultimate Providence with to negate Light Ray Daedalus' effect. Once you negate that effect, the farm is over. So I open with Spirit Bear, Unhappy Girl, and a Golden Ladybug. So we're in good shape. Obviously, it can be a problem if he does get Light Ray Daedalus, but I have a Cat of Ill Omen in my hand, so if I really am concerned about it, I can set Cat of Ill Omen down and put the Ultimate Providence to the top of my deck. You don't really need to attack, but I was just attacking because I was bored when I was doing this farm. So obviously, if you draw into a Raimei, you want to set it or have it attack and get destroyed so you can get more Golden Ladybugs in your hand and allow your life points to continue to grow throughout the duel as fuel for Ra for last turn. So my Raimei gets destroyed, I pick up my second Golden Ladybug.
monster's effect activates. My monster's effect. I said a monster. I'm ending my turn. Fuel my victory.
So it takes a little bit longer because this farm will take a little bit longer because you know, you have to say yes to activate Golden Ladybug every single turn. So it can be kind of a pain, especially if you have Ultimate Providence set, because it'll ask you if you want to negate your own Ladybug every turn. So during that time, you kind of have to pay attention. I just kind of turn my toggle to off because I don't want to be notified for every like Ladybug effect if I want to negate it. Because now I have 3 Ladybugs, so that's 3 separate effects that start at the beginning of my turn. So now I finally set my Cataville Omen. He still has no monsters in the grave, but just in case he fusion summons these, I want my Ultimate Providence set. So I put my Ultimate Providence to the top of my deck. So now that my Ultimate Providence is set, the farm is essentially done at this point.
I'm ending my turn. I draw. And you'll see why I draw. My monster's effect activate. My monster's effect activate. My monster's effect activates. I'm ending my turn. I draw. I activate the spell card. Polymerization.
So here we go. See, he's gonna poly everything he has in his hand for Chimeratech Overdragon. So that allows him to obviously summon Light Ray Daedalus. But Light Ray Daedalus effect can't activate obviously without a field spell. And obviously, of course, it doesn't matter because we have Ultimate Providence set. Again, you don't have to attack if you don't want to. So I just destroyed my own Turbulence just cause, just so I could put my 3 unhappy girls on the field. So obviously you just want to have your 3 monsters set on the field before the last turn so you can summon Ra on your final turn. So here's Luminous Spark. He pops Light Ray Daedalus as expected. And because you have the Ladybugs in your hand or whatever monster in your hand, you can run Ultimate Providence to discard and negate. No problem. So our LP is getting to a ridiculously high at this point. He'll always have a lower monster on the field, but even if he doesn't, if this farm goes well, like, it doesn't really matter if I have to just attack his Chimeratech Overdragon. My Ra will be so big, it will still be over 9,000, 10,000 damage.
I'm ending my turn. I draw from my hand. I'm ending my Destiny Heroes. I draw. My monster's effect. My monster's effect. My monster's effect activates. I'm ending monster's effect.
So now that we're on our last turn, we have 21,500. Sorry, 23,000 life points. And we summon the big fried chicken winged dragon of Ra. Activate its effect. 22,900 attack for the win in the last turn, no problem. And so that's easy 8,000 points there. Divine Monster, all that. These are prismatic. So that's a pretty flashy farm, if I do say so myself. So that's the second farming deck for you right there. So the last deck I'm going to show you today is if you have that money, you have that wallet, and you happen to have 3 King of the Swamps. I mean, you don't need it, but for consistency's sake, you do. It really helps you to have 3 of these. If you really wanted to, you could try using this deck without a skill, because it is pretty consistent with 3 King of the Swamps. But even for more consistency, having Draw Sense Water really helps. Pretty straightforward. Obviously, you want to get Dark Paladin out as soon as possible. And basically the spells you want to negate is Power Bond and Polymerization. You don't want him to get any of those fusion monsters out. Now obviously you can replace, if you don't have Shard of Greed or whatever, you can replace those cards with any draw power of your choice. So again, you might get unlucky here. I got kind of unlucky having 2 Dark Magicians in my hand and no Buster Blader or another King of the Swamp. So this is how Word Draw Sense Water helps. So I can pick up another King of the Swamp and discard it for Polymerization. Now of course I could have lost this duel if he fusioned a big enough monster to take me out in that turn, but he didn't. But now that Dark Paladin's out, this farm is pretty much good to go. Especially since I'm going to pop my Shard of Greed and have enough cards in my hand to negate either Power Bond or Polymerization. So he's going to play Polymerization. I'm of course going to negate that by discarding Dark Magician. So this farm will go a little bit faster because it has Shards of Greed in it. And don't fuse your second Dark Paladin if you have it too soon. You don't really need it. You kind of want to make sure that you can negate first. Just because especially since he hasn't used Power Bond yet, you just want to have negate fodder. So now that I know I can negate, use my Poly in my hand and my Buster Blader to negate, I can safely summon my second Dark Paladin. Again, if you don't have 2 Dark Paladins, you can use Dark Flare Knight and fusion summon it on the last turn. The only problem with that, it gets a little bit risky because your hand could get a little bit full. But you could always set your cards because he doesn't really have anything to destroy your back row. So of course we make the last turn okay with Dark Paladin, and we just do the standard as you've already seen in the other 2 farming videos. Basal, Secret Pass, Double Union Attack for the win. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is my farming video for Zane. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I thank you guys for taking the time out to comment on the videos. I'm super excited for Dragon Ball Z Fighters that's coming out at the end of this month. The beta is starting this weekend. I'll probably be on that. I'm super excited to start playing fighting games again, and Dragon Ball Z Fighters looks like an absolute blast. But enough about that. This was the level 40 Zane farming video. If you have anything else you'd like me to see, from me, I'll do my best with the time that I have. But I thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do, or do nothing, whatever, it's all good. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. AlterGenesis signing out.